All right, so my project here is following up on this Arturia video that I saw about keys that were sticking up. And if you look at how these keys are at the bottom, you'll see that little white box there around that black piece of plastic. And that is functionally a post that keeps that key from raising up any higher. As you push it down, you'll see it goes away from the post, and then when you let up, it goes back to the post. So all of these posts have to be at the exact point before the key will rise. And so here is what was broken off of this one right here. It is this little black post, and the bottom of it has like, try to make this where you can see it. It has like a little notch down, almost like a C shape. So my thinking would be that this little notch part is going to go right in the back, like that. And I'll get it in place and then start the video back up. So that is what it looks like in place. Now, it's not glued in place yet, but if I come on top and look at how they all fit together, I think that is the right way for that little tab to go in. It's right there, and as you can see, I have another one right here to repair as well. I had two keys that were broken. All right, so now I have glued both pieces in, and they're in the drying stage right now. One thing that I do recommend, and I had a piece of paper right down in this area, to put that down there anytime I ever use super glue. I don't know if you're like me, but I can never get it without making a super mess on my fingers, and usually on any type of surface that I'm working on as well. So that's why I like to put a piece of paper down. If it gets on there, no big deal. As I'm waiting for these little pegs to dry, there's another part that I've yet to discover exactly what it's going to be like. When I took the keys off, I was able to loosen this to a degree, but it wasn't until I pulled this spring out that I was able to take it off of the rest of the keyboard. So what this is going to do, this is going to punch in, and we'll have to look at the other side of it, because it's the bottom part down there where the springs are. You can see the springs down on that side, and that's this part right here. And the top part is going to fit right up and over. So I will hold it with a pair of pliers, and then I'll tuck in the bottom first, and then the plan is I'll pull it up and pop it into place so that it will have about that much sticking over. Maybe you can see that right there. So that's the plan. This, you tuck it in bottom first, then you pull it up with, like I said, a pair of pliers. I use this, is what I did, and I kind of stuck it right in the top part of that spring and pulled up and away from it, and it popped right out. So the first thing that I'll do is I'll put this key in, and this part right here is what's going to be fitting over that newly glued peg that I've just put back in. And you can see all of the super glue that I've got on my fingers right there. And there's the other one that's waiting right there. This is the middle key right here. And they are all numbered, in case you want to know, in sequence. So you can see that one says 1, and this one says 5. Okay? Well, I'm getting there. I flipped it around, and now you can see all of the springs back here holding the rest of these keys down. And all I had to do is pop that one in place and turn it back around, and you can see that without the spring, it does not come up even. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing now is taking this spring right here, and I'm going to be tucking it in this little slot right there, and then pulling up. So that's my next task. I'll try to get video of doing that. Well, it happened much quicker and much more easily than I ever dreamed. So there it is. It's back in. You can see number 5 right there. And I'll try to get video on doing this one. So again, the first step that I'm going to do now, I'm putting this last key in, is to flip this back up, just like so. And we're looking at that little peg that's right there. It's kind of hard to hold this camera. I'm not set up for doing YouTube videos the way a lot of people are, but I'm doing my best here. All right, so this is going to come in, and it just sits right over just like that. And then you hold it up and move it back down. And then what you do is you just press on this part right here, and it pops right in place. And you can see that that key is now low instead of high. But it pulls right up into place. All right, my last step on this repair process before I try to reassemble it, which that could be fun too. All right, it worked just like that. So I've still got the screwdriver in. I slid this under first, then pulled up on the spring and slid it into place. And now I just merely will pull out, hopefully, easily. There, like that. And then you can see that all of the keys are even now. All right, so the last step is coming down here and looking, making sure that as you laid the keyboard pad back down, on the back of it, it has little holes that actually keep the keyboard in place from the back or from the bottom. And then you just basically come through with a screwdriver and screw those back up and into place. And it looks like all of the holes are matching up really nicely. These 6 holes right here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are what hold the keyboard down. The rest of them, all of these other holes, are smaller screws on the outside boundary, and they basically hold the plate down to the chassis. The Arturia Keylabs are really nicely made with a lot of metal on them. They're quite heavy for their size, but they're made maybe a little bit more well constructed on the chassis than what I saw on those keys. That was kind of sad, actually. All right, so we're just about to the point. I'll come back when we screw in the rest of them, and then we'll flip it over. All right, so we're all tightened back up again. And again, you can see this is the Keylab 25. So let's see what this looks like. Voila, done, all even. There it is. That was the fix.